Are you a conscious creator or a lazy reactor? So what do I mean by this? Are you walking around every day doing the same thing, reacting to the old stories and old patterns that are placed in front of you and thinking that you have no choice, and getting caught up in your ego and emotions and not changing those patterns? Or are you consciously creating reality by stepping outside of that and into your creator self and consciously changing those patterns by disidentifying from those stories, emotions? You know how there's always a bigger itch that follows when you start scratching something? It's like you have a mosquito bite, and then if you just leave it, it's like at a level 2 and then it slowly goes away. But if you keep scratching it, it becomes a level 10 and then you're like, fuck, I can't take this anymore, oh my god.
Yeah, he knows all about scratching. You do, don't you? You got fleas, motherfucker.
If you just left it at a 2, it would have disappeared, but no, you reacted and you tried to find that temporary relief, that quick hit to make it go away, and then actually you gain no long-term benefit. You actually made it worse and you fuel that thing with your attention. This happens on so many levels in so many ways, even with your phone, with addictions, with relationships. Meh.
Oh. This is demon. Yes.
So what is a lazy reactor versus a conscious creator? A lazy reactor is somebody who's going to be walking through their day, reacting to old patterns, stories, thoughts in their head, and they're going to be kind of engulfed by those stories, thoughts, and emotions and beliefs. They're not going to question them, and they are going to be simply reacting to what is in front of them. But a conscious creator is going to be seeing anything that's in front of them in their 3D reality and actually not taking that as evidence of anything that is fixed in their life, because they know that they have the power to shift patterns. They have the power to alchemize whatever they need to alchemize. And I believe that manifestation is alchemy at its root. It's not just about getting a car and getting money and getting like materialistic things. It's really not that at all. Manifestation is about aligning with the highest version of yourself and transcending old limiting beliefs and patterns, becoming more worthy, becoming more of who you really truly are, becoming more of your true self. Because we are technically manifesting all the time, but what got us here is our thoughts, beliefs, patterns, and actions from the past, and our past identity, the way that we've been reacting and thinking and identifying, right? So if we don't question any of that, we become a lazy reactor. And if you're here, I assume you don't want to be a lazy reactor. You want to be a conscious manifester, a conscious creator. Now, there's no shame in being a lazy reactor. I do it all the time, where, you know, we're only human. We're all gonna fall back into our patterns, and we're all gonna fall back to the familiar sense of self. But it's just about reflecting on, you know, how could I have done this better? And then doing differently in the future. That's how you transcend. Anyway, if you're new here, I'm Nico. I talk about self-development, spirituality, mysticism, and art. So if that interests you, maybe subscribe, check out more videos. And for those of you who have been on my channel, I'm sorry I haven't been posting. I actually have been going through a heartbreak. But there are going to be a lot of juicy lessons that I'm gonna extract from this and, you know, hopefully use that as fuel to become my best version of self. And I look like this because today I actually went to a costume fitting for a movie to be a background extra, and this is what the team did to me, so I just kind of thought I would roll with it. Put like fake roots on me. It's actually pink, but they like they like sprayed it with brown paint to make me have roots. here we are. Anyway, I realized that I have ruined a relationship partially because of reactivity. You know, I realized as women we like to blame the guy a lot in a relationship and get kind of sympathy from other women, and that's how we bond. But I think it's so important to also think about what was my part in the rupture here, and I've been doing a lot of reflecting on that, and I realized that I would have certain thoughts about the person's actions, and then I would add meaning on top of it, such as, they did this, so that must mean that they don't care about me. Instead of stepping back and being like, hold on, let me question those thoughts, like, is this just like my anxious attachment from childhood getting triggered? Is this like a true story? Is this the truth? Or is this like bullshit that my nervous system, my brain is telling me because my nervous system is attuned to unsafety? And instead of like having that distance, I would kind of get caught up in the emotion and the thought. And then the thought would grip me so hard that the only way to relieve tension would be to go to that person and tell them how I feel. And my message was not fully thought out, not fully felt through. And actually, deep down, I wanted closeness. But the way that I structured my message would actually be a push away. And then I would be wondering, like, what the fuck is going on, right? And that's because the message that I sent was coming from this underlying energy of this undealt with emotion, and I'm trying to kind of like soothe my anxiety from the outside in. So projecting onto this person those thoughts and feelings, and then making it about them not meeting my needs. When actually, all along, those thoughts that were brewing in my brain were just protector mechanisms because I didn't feel certain things. Maybe I didn't feel safe. Maybe I needed to feel safe. And instead of taking that vulnerable aspect of me and feeling the emotion that is underneath the stories and the thoughts, and then presenting that vulnerability to the other person, I would actually spiral in the thoughts and try to control the outcome from like the outside in, but that doesn't even work. So I had a big realization about this today, and today I felt like reaching out to this person and again trying to like close the gap, because the disconnection was making me feel a certain way, and instead of being present with that feeling inside my body, I would try to soothe it by external means. So I realized this, and my spirit guides were saying, no, don't text them. So I listened, and I sat outside in the garden, and I was just kind of watching my thoughts and watching the world for a bit, just like regulating myself. And then I saw this bee fertilizing these flowers, going from flower to flower. And looking at that bee, I realized, like, hold on, like the flower is not actually doing anything to invite the bee in. It's just being itself. The flower is just being. And then the bee does what it does, right? And the word invite really stood out to me, and it made me realize in that moment that I haven't been inviting this person in. I have been using language that pushes them away from me further and further, instead of sharing a vulnerability, letting the door be open, and then letting them choose whether they want to come in or not. Instead, I would be feeling anxious and trying to close the gap myself. So this is anxious attachment, y'all. If you don't know what I'm talking about, some of you will be familiar with this pattern because you have gone through it yourself, or you have seen it in your life with other people, but this is what anxious attachment is like, unfortunately, and I've been doing a great deal of work to rewire that and learn about it. But when I learn something, it's like cognitive, right? And it's like, in my mind, I might know the right thing to do or say, but if it's not actually wired in my nervous system, then I cannot act from that level of being. And so I'm slowly rewiring myself, being patient with myself. Maybe if you're going for a similar process, just have compassion with yourself, because this shit ain't easy, you know? We're doing like God's work over here, y'all, like trying to rewire all these like shitty patterns that our parents gave us. It ain't easy work, let's just say. So what I learned through watching that bee and that flower is that when I have these kinds of episodes of these anxious thoughts brewing in my brain, I need to step back and not react, because then I'm being a lazy reactor. I'm not being a conscious creator of my reality. I am just fueling the old pattern that was passed down to me from childhood and just going on autopilot. Like, how am I going to manifest what I want to manifest in this life if I am being a lazy reactor? Like, you just can't. You can't. If you have a big goal, if you want to experience love like you've never experienced before, and you have been handed down shitty karma and shitty patterns, you're gonna have to upgrade. You're gonna have to learn how to disengage from those old stories and emotions and thoughts and feelings. You're literally going to have to master yourself. Like, manifestation, guys, is self-mastery. It is the art of becoming more and more conscious, more and more of yourself. If you have a big goal, let's say you want to be a millionaire, or you want to own a business, or you want to do something that you've never done before, it's gonna require you to literally clear out those old patterns that no longer serve you, and to step back every time you are being triggered and actually assess things in a calm, rational manner, where you're not reacting, you're actually responding, and you're ignoring circumstances in the sense of like not putting your head in the sand and being like, oh, this doesn't exist, this is not real, like spiritually bypassing. No, but like ignoring your circumstances as in like circumstances do not matter, because I know that as the creator, I have the power to shift in the now moment, to shift my reality to something better, different thoughts that I prefer to think, different stories that I'm telling myself, not the disempowering ones that I kept feeding, that I'm unworthy, that I'm not good enough, that this person doing this means that I must not be good enough. Disengage from all of that bullshit. Literally just unhinge yourself from it. It's not serving you. If you're constantly living in a loop of subconscious reactivity to things, then that's what you're gonna keep creating. And if you keep seeking validation on the outside, like, how is that going to fulfill you? It's just going to be a cup with a hole in it. It's going to fall right through. Subconscious reactivity, even though there might be a protector part that is trying to protect you, trying to take over your whole body, because sometimes you act and you don't even think, like it just takes over, because your nervous system is wired that way. Your protector parts have your best interests at heart. They really want to help you in the way that they best know how, so they take over your whole body, and then you react, and then you're like, what the fuck, like, why did I say that? Why? It wasn't even you. It wasn't the full you. It wasn't thought out. It was just a part of you that was trying to protect you, to do its best to protect you. But those parts think that they are protecting you, but they are actually creating more chaos. Every reaction matters. If I'm reacting to every single thing that pops up in my mind, and I just take it as, this is me, this thought is me, I'm identified, well, I'm disempowered then. I'm not choosing which reality I want to be in. I'm just being a lazy reactor. Being detached from all that bullshit going on around you and just coming back to your I am awareness, your center, and merging with the big self, merging with God, creator consciousness. This is my practice now. Every day, just like remind myself as much as I can of this fact and remove all the bullshit. It's like if your operating system has been on automatic your whole life and now you're trying to switch to manual. But then every time you go unconscious, it's like the gears turn back to automatic mode because it's easy. It's what you know. It's familiar. Then you gotta like ramp up the gear to no, I want manual. Remember? I said I'm rich. I said this. I said you gotta keep reminding yourself and like keep ignoring those thoughts. I realize it's the same when it comes to money. Like, if you keep reacting to the number in your bank account, then you're in this loop that is perpetuating there being lack because you're focused on lack and you're reacting to lack, and then you're telling the universe, oh, I'm focused on lack, and then the universe is like, yes, here's more lack, because it doesn't contradict you in your vibration. So you've got to take your power back, but it starts with disengaging from those patterns and emotions and not being a lazy reactor. Dissolving the beliefs and the thoughts and feelings in the moment. This is actually something I learned in a paid masterclass. So I'm gonna spill it to you guys because I think this information should be free. Like, I should have had this in my toolkit a long time ago. And I'm sorry to the creator of, whoever made that. I'm obviously not gonna spill it like word for word, but I just think that this is such a basic thing that we all fucking need in our emotional toolkit. So the technique is, whenever you feel activated and triggered, you do your best to not go into reaction mode and to distance yourself from it, and then observe it in a neutral way. Observe the story and the beliefs that are behind this emotion, and then think, oh, is this actually true right now? Is it true that I am unlovable? Is it true that he doesn't love me? Is it true that I'm not destined to be rich? Whatever it is, right? And then you question that and you're like, well, actually no, because this, and this. And then you dissolve it. You take the foundation from under those beliefs. You pull it out in the moment when you're feeling triggered. You're not always going to remember this. Sometimes you will be sucked in by the triggers, but you do your best to keep remembering over and over and over again and doing this process every time. Alchemizing the triggers. There are other ways to alchemize triggers, like going back to your childhood memories in a meditative state. I've done that loads of times. But this is just a really simple technique that you can use to dissolve the trigger in the moment. And then in the end, you can actually replace it with another belief that you think is beneficial to you, or just something neutral that is actually true, instead of the untruth that you have been feeding your energy into. See, these thoughts that are being generated by your brain whenever you have an emotional reaction to something, they are egregores. They are literally like alive beings. If you've ever heard of reality transurfing, they talk about pendulums. So a pendulum is like an egregore, like a thought form that tries to hook onto you and steal your attention. And you will notice that whenever you have negative thoughts, they tend to attract more and more and more of the same until you're in a fucking spiral. And this happens to me all the time. Not anymore though, because I'm choosing to be a conscious creator, not a lazy reactor. So yeah, this is it, guys. Respond, don't react. Respond, don't react. Pull your energy back. Observe, dissolve, choose. Choose the reality that you prefer in the moment. This doesn't mean lie to yourself. If somebody's actually being an asshole, you're not gonna gaslight yourself and say, oh, maybe they're just having a bad day and they stubbed their toe and they like accidentally cheated on me because they stubbed their toe. Like, no. They fell into a hole and there was already a woman in it, and it was an accident and they still love me. No, don't be that bitch. Don't be that bitch, okay? Look at reality as it is, but choose. Choose not to engage in the old story, especially when it comes to yourself. Choose that you are lovable. Choose that you are the bad bitch. Choose that you are powerful. Choose that you are rich. It happens in every moment. Alright guys, that's it. That's all I wanted to spew at the camera. I've been dying to spew some bullshit at the camera for months. I have not created anything, and I have the creative itch again coming out of this fucked up stuff that I have been in, and alchemizing this heavy energy, reclaiming my power, reclaiming my worth, remembering who the fuck I am, remembering that somebody's opinion of me doesn't actually have power over me unless I let it have power. Remembering that I am perfect as I am and I deserve the best. And I hope that you remember the same. So good luck to you, and I hope to see you on my channel in the next video. Bye.